Welcome to the show. I'm Danella, and here's what's happening now. Free abortions. I'll tell you where lawmakers have just passed a bill saying that insurance companies should cover abortions. 100% coverage. I'll let you know where and how that will affect you. Also, all eyes are on the G20 summit. I'll give you details about that. And as promised, we talked about this last week, how to be more charming. They make more money. That's what they're saying now. Hey, if you're in the need for a job, if you're looking for a promotion, I'll give you some tips on how to fake it until you make it. If you're not naturally charming, I'll give you some tips on how to be naturally charming. Now, first, let's get into political pop. Now, we're talking about the G20 summit. As I'm recording with you right now, it is happening. If you followed along last night, you saw protests happen late into the evening last night ahead of the G20 summits that are happening today. So as of right now, Trump, Putin, they're meeting, right? And everybody's watching this. First of all, let's talk about the protests, and I'll tell you what we're kind of hoping to see today. So protests last night, 100 officers were injured. And the protesters last night, there were fires as well. Even today, cars were lit on fire. Smoke was in the air in Hamburg, Germany. Smoke is in the air. In fact, the First Lady, as I'm talking to you right now, is trapped in her hotel. They're not giving her the permission to leave because of all the protests that are right outside her doors. Protesters today staged sit-ins and were met with police officers in riot gear with also water cannons. So it is a very volatile situation there. Definitely going to be watching that. And the big question is, when we're having a G20 summit, when we're having any of these meetings with the world leaders, we're all asking, okay, what's going to be the tangible change, right? That's what we're all hoping for and hoping to see. So, yeah, I'm going to be watching it very closely. And hopefully when I see you next week, I'll have, some tangible change or some good news. But for now, that is your political pop. Now, let's shoot over. Before we get into free abortions, I want to talk to you guys about a disease. Listen to this. Have you heard about a common, very common STD that is now becoming more difficult and also untreatable? Difficult to treat and then also impossible. So let me tell you what disease we're talking about. It affects about 78 million people a year. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? It's gonorrhea. Yeah, man. The World Health Organization just released a report just saying about not only has it become more resistant to antibiotics like penicillin, but in some countries they're saying they're having problems even treating it at all. And we're talking about first world countries, France, Spain. They're all saying they had problem treating it, even in Japan. So we've seen here in America, in Hawaii actually, they're saying last year that they had a couple of cases that were very difficult to treat. And so I want to talk to you about why they're saying that it's difficult to treat. They said, well, for gonorrhea, it is a disease that constantly mutates. That's the first problem. The second problem is they're saying that our drugs are old. Yeah, the World Health Organization is saying that it's not very popular for drug companies to then release new drugs to fight these bacteria. So the other thing is that, okay, everybody knows gonorrhea is, synonymous with burning when you urinate, right? That's like the joke, like, oh, it burns when you pee. Oh, you got it. And so the problem is, for most people, they have no symptoms at all. That's the first problem. So it's hard to detect. Then the other problem is that sometimes it's just misdiagnosed. And so doctors are prescribing penicillin and you don't really have gonorrhea, and then you can make like super bacteria. So yeah, I'm sharing this with you to say, especially for my single cats out there, please wrap it up. Please wrap it up. Wrap it up. Okay, now let's move on to free abortions. Now, this is what's interesting. It's happening in Oregon. Bill just passed. This was on Wednesday. Lawmakers there Democratic House, they passed this bill saying that insurance companies will pay, not should, you will pay for abortions 100%. And it's interesting because they're saying, and I want to give you the exact wording on this, insurance companies in Oregon will be required to cover abortions and other reproductive services at no cost to patients, regardless of income, citizenship status, or gender identity. Now, this is huge. Okay, this is huge because if this is happening in Oregon, and again, I said that this bill has passed, that means that other states can follow. Okay, because now the bill is on the way to the governor there, and the governor there is a Democrat, so they're definitely thinking this is going to go to law. Now, if you're in New York, you may know this. I didn't know this, although I've lived in New York for many years. I didn't know this, that in New York and in other states as well, abortions are cost-free if it's deemed medically necessary. Again, this bill is different because it's saying you can get an abortion for any reason, any reason, any reason. And the Democrats there are saying that, it's important because of poverty as well as a woman's right to choose whether or not she's able to care for a baby. So this is really interesting. So yeah, I'm going to keep watching this, and who knows, depending on where you live, you may start to see other bills in your hometown being brought up to pass similar measures, especially in this heightened climate that we live in, where there's more restrictions when it comes to a woman's right to choose. And we're hearing this rhetoric, and we're seeing it in laws, with cutting funding to Planned Parenthood. We're seeing this. And so it's interesting to see that there are some lawmakers really saying, hey, a woman should have the right to choose. And insurance companies, you should respect that right. So now, let's keep it moving with how to be charming. Now, there were a lot of studies in the past that said, charming people, I don't know if they're more successful. Well, now there's a lot combating that, saying that charming people are not only more successful because they're more likable. Hey, if you're in the market for a job, you're not only more likely to get the job, but you need a promotion, you're more likely to get a promotion. And they're also saying that if you're in sales, you're more likely to make that sale. So our topic today is going to be how to be more charming. And if you aren't charming, how to fake it. Okay, let me tell you who's saying how to fake it. It's Jack Schaefer. He's a psychologist and retired FBI special agent. He's also a likability coach and the author of The Like Switch. So he says, first off, there's 3 major things that we do when you first approach somebody that signals that you're not a threat. I didn't know this. He says what we should do is flash our eyebrows, slight head tilt, and smile. And then when you do that, that says that you're more likable. Now, bear with me. My nanny is coming home right now with my son, so you're going to hear some background noise, but I'm going to keep going through this with you. After that, the next step is to show genuine interest. Now, in order to show genuine interest, you have to look at a person's eyes and see that's my baby, KJ. It's your mommy. She's working. And I was out of town for the last couple of days, so I haven't seen my baby for 2 days. So let me hurry. 1 second, baby. Kisses are coming. So sorry. So sorry. Okay, so look in the person's eyes, right? And if you make really good eye contact, then it'll make a person feel more comfortable with you. So a way to fake that eye contact is to look at the different color in their eyes, right? So look at their irises and see the different eye colors. Now, this is another tip, and it's going to be close to our final tip. I'll give you 2 more, but this is almost done. When you disagree with someone, so let's say you're talking to somebody and you guys have different of opinion. This I thought was really helpful for people. Instead of focusing on where you differ, it is suggested that you focus on where you have similarities. Does that make sense? So basically, listen to a person's argument and try to find a common ground. Because in a lot of cases, they're saying that we actually can agree on principle. Maybe not the other details, but you may find common ground on principle. And then I love this approach. This is our last approach on how to be charming. Is to do something, and this is what Schaefer calls Hansel and Gretel. This is a Hansel and Gretel approach. Because a lot of people meet people and they want to give you everything everything at once. Like you want to give your whole life. I'm like this, I'm like this, I'm like this. And they say, no, 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 Hansel and Gretel. By that, just do a little bit of information at a time. And it's almost crumbs to lead a person to you, and so that they can get to know you better. So I love that. Try some of these tips. Hopefully they'll be helpful for you, help you to be more charming, right? More likable. You can get that raise that you want. You can sell what you're trying to sell. And oh, let me tell you this last thing. I forgot to add this in. Since I got a little more time, my nanny took my baby downstairs. So let's say that you're in sales. How do you know that you're having a good connection with somebody? Is by watching mirroring behavior. And actually, I was just at a wedding last night, actually. And I saw this. I tried this. People at my table didn't know, but I tried this tactic just to see if it worked. And mirroring behavior is if you're having a good conversation, let's say you shift your body position. If they shift their body position, then that means they're connecting with you. And I noticed it too because I picked up my drink, and then my friend picked up her drink, and I was like, oh, we're having a good conversation. Also, shout out to, I want to say, Gary and Jenny. We want to wish you so much on your beautiful wedding. It was a great wedding ceremony yesterday. But yeah, that's where I got to try it. So like I said, gonna wrap up this show, and I hope these tips are helpful to you. When you see me next, I will be the proud mommy of a 2-year-old. I can't even believe it. Yes, we're celebrating my son's birthday this weekend, and yeah, I'm a bad mommy because I have to go see the venue right now. Yeah, because I was doing all this stuff for you guys, you know? Yeah, email me, Danella@DanellaNow.com, and I will see you next week. And as always, thank you so much for watching the show. See you next week.